After starting as a radio series, The Lone Ranger kicked off its 9-year, 221-episode television run in 1949. Here's what the cast did after the series came to an end more than 65 years ago. Besides the title character, nobody was more important to the Lone Ranger than his companion Tonto, who was played throughout the series by Jay Silverheels. According to the Lone Ranger's origin story, he and Tonto crossed paths when they were both kids. The Lone Ranger found Tonto after his mother and sister had been killed in an ambush by rival natives. The Ranger helped nurse Tonto back to health before giving him a horse so he could find his father. In return, Tonto gave him his good luck ring. Years later, when the Lone Ranger and his fellow Texas Rangers were ambushed by Butch Cavendish and his gang, Tonto came to his aid. Tonto recognized his good luck ring, which had since been made into a necklace.
Why, you Kimosabe. Kimosabe?
Silverheels was himself a Native American of the Canadian Mohawk tribe. He also played the Native American Chief Geronimo in a number of movies in the 50s. Before becoming an actor, Silverheels was both a Golden Gloves boxer and a lacrosse player. He was instrumental in getting recognition for Native Americans in Hollywood and helped found the Indian Actors Workshop. In 1979, he was honored with a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, the first Native American to receive one. After suffering a stroke in the 70s, Silverheels died from pneumonia in 1980. Clayton Moore was by far the most recognizable actor to portray the title character on the Lone Ranger TV series. The Lone Ranger was a former Texas Ranger who became an anonymous crime fighter following the death of several of his fellow officers. They were led into a trap by outlaw Butch Cavendish, and only the Lone Ranger survived. Tonto found him lying by the river, almost near death, and saved his life. Moore played the Lone Ranger for 169 episodes, appearing in every season except for the third, in which he was replaced by John Hart. Moore got his start acting in the 1930s, and he was a consistent presence in many westerns in the 40s and 50s. His stints on the Lone Ranger were his last significant acting roles, and he only acted once more in a guest role on The Greatest American Hero in 1986. Well after the series went off the air, Moore lived and breathed the life of the Lone Ranger for the rest of his days. Moore would appear at public and private events as the Lone Ranger, and he identified strongly with the Ranger's creed in his personal life. He became a member of the Cowboy Hall of Fame and got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1987. Moore died in 1999 from a heart attack at age 85. John Hart only played the Lone Ranger for one 52-episode season in 1952 and 1953, but he made an everlasting impression with his solid acting and rugged good looks. Hart had previously played supporting roles in 2 episodes in the first season, but returned as the main character for every episode of the third season in Clayton Moore's absence. Like Moore, Hart also started acting in the late 1930s, appearing in many westerns. Following his brief stint as the Lone Ranger, Hart continued acting regularly through the late 1970s. His final role was on the TV show Happy Days, in which he reprised his role as the Lone Ranger.
I'd like to say it gives me great pleasure to meet a man who has patterned his life after mine.
In 1970, he appeared in the comedic film The Finks as the Lone Ranger alongside Jay Silverheels as Tonto, where they played humorous versions of their former characters. Hart was also an actual, real-life part-time cowboy growing up. He was also a filmmaker, has a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and was a U.S. Army veteran of the Second World War. He died in 2009 at the age of 91, reportedly suffering from dementia. As the evil Butch Cavendish, Glenn Strange had a short but very memorable run on The Lone Ranger. Strange played Cavendish for 4 episodes during the first season, including the 3-part origin story spanning the first 3 episodes. Cavendish was the villain who lured the Lone Ranger and his band of Texas Rangers into the ambush at Bryant's Gap, which led to the death of 5 Rangers, as well as the birth of the Lone Ranger. Eventually, Cavendish would be caught and sent to jail for life, though in later rebooted versions, he is sometimes killed. In addition to portraying Cavendish, Strange also made 4 other appearances on the Lone Ranger in the 3rd and 4th seasons, playing various secondary characters. Strange is probably best known for his portrayal of Sam Noonan in the drama Gunsmoke for more than 240 episodes from 1961 to 1973, and as the Wolfman in 1942's The Mad Monster. In all, Strange managed to appear in more than 300 movies and in around 500 TV shows. He was also a real-life cowboy and a stuntman to boot. Strange died from cancer at the age of 74 in 1973. For 14 episodes over 3 seasons, Chuck Courtney played the role of Dan Reed on The Lone Ranger. Reed was an orphan and the nephew of the Lone Ranger, with his father being the Ranger's older brother, also named Dan Reed.
What's your name, Sonny?
Dan Reed.
Live around here?
Why all the questions? I haven't done anything wrong.
The younger Reed was still a boy when his father was killed during the Cavendish ambush. He lived with his grandma Frisbee after his mother also died. Courtney officially started his career in 1950 with the Lone Ranger, but he had several small uncredited roles before that. After his time as Reed ended, Courtney continued to be a successful actor in Hollywood, racking up title after title. Some of his most notable roles included stints on Dragnet, The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin, and Star Trek. In addition to his work as an actor, Courtney also appeared in 51 movies as a highly regarded stuntman. His last work as a stuntman was for the 1990 Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen film The Rookie, at which point he was in his late 50s. Courtney died by suicide in 2000 at the age of 69. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please dial or text 988 to speak with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can also seek help by visiting 988lifeline.org.